Hi, this is Annalie Kruger, the owner of Caregiver Incorporated. Today's topic is the family meeting. In my experience as a social worker for 25 years, helping families across the country develop an aging plan, I can say with a great deal of confidence that most families don't talk about the aging process and what their actual family plan is if you have aging loved ones. So, what's the plan if dad has a stroke tomorrow? Do you know where all of the documents are? Do you know if you're the power of attorney? Do you know if they have or your parents have long-term care insurance? What kind of conversations have you had as a family about the what ifs of aging? We can't stick our heads in the sand or keep our heads in the sand and say, oh, things will just work out, because they won't work out very well. So today's topic is the family meeting. Things that you should cover in your family meeting are the following. Essentially, the Care Right grab and go binder. Why do I keep showing this on almost all of my videos? Because this is a system that's already created for you. All you have to do is open it up and fill out each of the sheets that's in there and put your information behind the appropriate tab. So what kind of tabs are in here? It's basically your family meeting agenda. What are our medical situations? Who's our doctors? What medications do we take? What's our system for taking medications? Some of my clients, when I start working with them, they literally put their medications in a shoebox or a garbage bag, and they'll say, here you go, Annalie, this is my system. Well, then you wonder why they're not taking their medications properly. I wouldn't be able to figure that system out either. So, family meeting conversations, the grab and go binder. So, topics in the grab and go binder are who should be on the emergency contact list. Who are some local friends, who are neighbors of your parents, who's their minister, who is their financial planner, who is their attorney, where are their estate documents, are you listed as the power of attorney, how deep of conversations have you had as a family about if I have a life-prolonging illness, do I want a feeding tube, do I want pain medications, do I want antibiotics to treat infections as I'm dying. All of those kind of conversations are critical, and they're not fun. That's why families don't have them. That's why I do these family meetings with my clients, because I know what to talk about and how to do it so that the meeting can be productive. Oftentimes, family relationships or family dynamics get in the way of having a productive family meeting. There's too much family conflict, there's too much drama, there's dysfunction. Brother Tom said something at Thanksgiving 20 years ago and it rubbed everyone the wrong way, so that was, the family relationships were fractured since then. Well, guess what? Now mom and dad have a medical crisis and you need to come together as a family and figure out as a team what's going to be the right solutions for your parents if they're not able to make their own decisions. So, insurance. What do we have for house insurance, car insurance, life insurance, long-term care insurance? All things insurance go in the insurance tab. This is an easy way for your family to just have a family meeting, talk about what's in place. What are the accounts that you have? What are the bills that you have? Do you have your bills set up on automatic bill pay? Are you still paying your bills by check? Are they automatically deducted out of your account? You need to find these things out because at some point you're going to need to know. Do you have your funeral arrangements taken care of? Do you want to be cremated? Do you want to be buried? You know, what kind of hymns or what kind of end of life ceremony is it that you want to have? Again, families don't like talking about these things, so they don't. But guess what? I'm here to tell you that you're going to have to talk about these things at some point. Usually when there's a medical crisis, that is the worst time to try to have these family meetings. But unfortunately, that's what most families do because they didn't talk about it before proactively. Legal documents, we already covered that. What do you have in place for legal documents? Your estate documents, your trusts, all of those things, are they updated? Are the people that they may have named 20 years ago still alive, still able to be a power of attorney, still want to be a power of attorney? Do they still have the relationship with that person to be a power of attorney? This isn't just for your parents, this is for you too. So anyone over the age of 18, you should have all of this information in one location and talk about these things with your family. Other family meeting topics. You know, what are your goals as you age, mom and dad? Most people, if you saw my aging in place at home video, most people want to age in place at home, and that's fine, but how did they financially prepare for that? Because it's expensive to do that. What are they going to have to do to their house to make it safe? Are you contemplating having them move in with you? Then if so, watch my Should Mom Move In With Us video. There's a lot to consider if you're thinking about that. Not only financially, who's going to pay for what, how are you going to track that so that in time no one comes back to you and say, well, gee, you know, you spent mom and dad's money, how did you spend it? Well, you keep a spreadsheet and you keep receipts, just like you would if you were a business owner. Is your house safe for them to live in? And what's the exit strategy for if they move in with you and they need more care and supervision and oversight than what you can feasibly provide for them? We talk about with our clients, you know, the aging in place part, the good, the bad, and the ugly of that. That means, mom and dad, that you're going to have to be willing to shell out some money to be able to stay at home. That means you're going to have to be willing to allow these home care workers to come into your house and spend the day with you or spend 24/7 with you. That means you're going to have to be willing to allow other healthcare workers to come in. If you have skin ulcers and you need a skin nurse, if you have diabetes, if you have any specialty type of skilled service, you're going to need to allow these therapists and these nurses to come in and check on you. One of the complaints I get from my clients that chose to stay at home is that they're lonely, they're isolated. The television becomes their source of socialization. I can tell you as someone who checks on them on a regular basis that they are anxious, they get depressed, afternoons are hard, they end up sleeping more than they're awake because they're bored, or they're just not properly socialized. They're relying on neighbors or church friends to come in and check on them, and that's not a sustainable plan. They're relying on other people who aren't trained professional caregivers to take care of them. For example, I have clients that have a housekeeper that they pay to clean their house, but they've managed to hire this housekeeper also as a caregiver. So a few weeks ago, I was actually walking my dog, who's on my lap, who keeps kind of popping into the video. I was walking him, and this lady yelled out the street through the window, and she's like, hey, can you come here and help me? So of course I did. And I said, what's the matter? And she said, well, I'm just the housekeeper, but the family hired me to also take care of her, and I don't know what I'm doing, and this lady's oxygen concentrator wasn't working properly. I said, okay, so what have you done? And she goes, well, I haven't done anything. She said, this was at like 9 o'clock in the morning. And she said, you know, when she got there, I'm sorry, this was at like 11 o'clock in the morning. And she said, when she got there at 9 o'clock, she could tell her client was gasping for air. She couldn't breathe. The machine wasn't working right. So because she doesn't know what she doesn't know, because she's not a trained professional, this could have been your mom or dad sitting there for over 2 hours, not being able to breathe and being scared and anxious. So when we talk about a family meeting, who is going to be the caregivers? Is it going to be you guys as a family? Are you cut out to be a caregiver? Do you have the relationship with your parents to be a caregiver? Do you have the personality to be a caregiver? Not everybody is wired to be a caregiver. Do you have the finances to quit your job to be a caregiver? A lot of my clients, the daughters, end up not taking job promotions because they need the flexibility in their schedule to be able to be a caregiver. They are quitting work, they're taking early retirement, they are taking more menial jobs so that they have the flexibility to be a caregiver. So when you're embarking on this journey of aging loved ones, there's so much that families need to know and they don't know it. So they're not making informed decisions. And unfortunately, what happens is when there's a medical crisis, that's really when that's really when everyone in the family is suffering. And it doesn't have to be that way. If we can be proactive, have these conversations when things are going well, is always the best. In 25 years of doing family services like this, I've never had a family member ever come back to me in 25 years and say, gosh, Annalee, I feel so confident about the decisions that our family had to make during a medical crisis. I've never had a family member come back to me. They always are, oh my goodness, I'm so glad we found out about your service, because now we have peace of mind and the family caregiver can come up for air and the family relationships can be restored and your whole family has better outcomes because you put a plan in place. So family meeting is all encompassing. Families try to do this on their own, but there's so much information that they just don't even know to talk about. Because you don't know what you don't know. The grab and go binder, if you're trying to do this all on your own, instead of hiring a professional to help you, the grab and go binder is your best bet, because that's got the agenda basically in it. It gets all of you prepared, all of your documents in order. It gives you peace of mind knowing that when that medical crisis happens or that unexpected death happens, you've got the paperwork at your fingertips. Instead of when you get that phone call that says, hey, dad had a stroke, we need to find this, this, and this in their file cabinet, you can be like, you know what, no sweat, because I already have that online because we have the grab and go binder. And then you can tend to what your parents' needs are versus trying to scramble and find all these documents, especially if you don't live down the street from your parent. Most of my clients, they're scattered across the country. So unless you have to fly to your loved one's house, rummage through their desk trying to find what it is you're looking for that the hospital needs, I mean, that's just not good use of time and energy during a crisis. So the grab and go binder is on the website. It's basically your family meeting agenda. And again, there's at least 11 different topics that at least will get you started if you're going to do your family meeting by yourself. So again, Annalee Kruger, Care Right Incorporated, www.carerightinc.com. Be safe, be well, and take care of yourselves.